got reminded of something stupid today, so I want to see if I can add my 2 cents to that thing. Now, what is that in question? That is going to be Jackson Pollock, my oh so favorite artist to have as a punching bag. Now, just to add a bit of background and context to this thing, uh, I've had I've been getting more and more into art over the past couple of years, and I took 2 art classes in my high school years. That was studio art, 2D, I believe, and art history. Studio art was decently fun, though the topics could get a little frustrating, and art history was just frustrating. Now, that being said, there I could get pretentious as much as I could about art, which is also what I tend to do frequently. So for those of you who might be annoyed by that, I do apologize, but again, I plan to do more stuff in the future. Um, but and there's some people that I like from the past. You know, we have Leonardo da Vinci, we have Pablo Picasso, and there was that, and also the Arnolfini painting, and also the Scream. Some people hate the Scream, but I actually think it's fine. Um, but of course, the main topic is Jackson Pollock today. Why am I talking about this now? Because there was a video that I saw again. Uh, it's something along the lines of modern art is a scam, or something by that, by Charlie White himself. And I want to see if I could, give my take on it. I'm not gonna do a live reaction because that's just gonna take some setup that I don't remember how to do. So we're just gonna have to do it like this. I'm gonna be showing the clip from start to finish. It's about like 2.5 minutes, and I'll just give my piece whenever there's something utterly ridiculous that is either said or just stupid. So let's get into it.
Now, of course, when we look at Pollock paintings, they're familiar and they're accepted. At the time that they were made, they were an affront, they were downright shocking because they were an attack on painting itself.
Yes, they are an attack on painting itself. You know why? Because there's people that put way more effort and have much better products that come out of that. For example, this is somebody that I talk to decently, but Magic Lungs on Instagram. She does some amazing work. Like, it's very surreal. I love the style, and it's utterly fantastic. I might have some pictures pulled up, just so you can get an idea of her work, because it really is fantastic. And she also does some fan art for some of her favorite artists as well. But again, things like The Old Guitarist, The Last Supper, those paintings, and the Arnolfini painting again, Arnolfini portrait, I'm sorry. Those paintings are fantastic. Jackson Pollock is not fantastic at all.
To make this work, Pollock placed the canvas on the floor
That's pretty disrespectful.
and spattered and dripped the paint, making a painting which is about the substance of paint itself, the fact that paint is liquid.
How fucking stupid is that statement? The substance of paint is the same as liquid paint.
And when we see paint on canvas, normally that's hidden. Paint is made to resemble something else, whether it's a sky or a field or flesh. But what Pollock does is just present us with paint as paint.
That is such a dumbass statement. Having paint as paint is utterly lazy to say, as well as present. And the statements of this man are just fucking abominable, dude.
He was the first person to do this. Many people have tried to copy Pollock. None of them have the energy, the spontaneity, and the sheer skill in handling paint that he has.
This man fucking places a canvas onto the floor and splashes a bunch of paint with, I'm assuming, a thick paintbrush. And they call that hard to replicate? Keep in mind, people are replicating Jackson Pollock not as a form of appreciation or plagiarism or whatever. They're doing it as a joke, an absolute fucking joke. I did this shit back in 4th grade as a little project back when we had specials, doing PE, art, and all that shit. I did that in art as a 4th grader. how could you call this anything that should be bigger than it really is?
From afar, you read the painting as being different shades of grey, fairly restrained, but when you get up close, other colours jump out at you. So to begin with, it appears as if Pollock spatters matte black paint, which seeps into the bare canvas. And then on top, he's layering this riot of colours: silver, cream, pink, grey, touches of green, turquoise, and yellow.
I don't know about you guys, but that paint was still relatively difficult to spot. Like, okay, so for those of you who may not be aware, I like to measure. You know how we have RGB and HSB, red, green, blue, and hue, saturation, and brightness. I like to go for the HSB one because you have more control in general. Because RGB is a mix of those three colors, and HSB is the actual like basis, I believe, for paint. Um, so there may be varying levels of hue, but the saturation isn't there, nor the brightness. Like it kind of mixes together, even aside from the general complaint that I have about Jackson Pollock.
You think of it as being a flat image, but it's this very, very built up, knotted, clotted surface. Sometimes the lines are quite thin and fine. At points, the paint pools and starts to clot and is even smeared. Some paint is fluid, other paint is shiny and forms impasto on the surface. So the painting is quite textured.
Okay, this actually isn't that bad of a description of this because it is clotted, it is actually textured, and there are a decent amount of like mixing and whatnot. And depending on how you do this, it can be really effective. But I don't think this is Jackson Pollock we're talking about. That's all I'm gonna say.
The paintings are all incredibly human in the sense they're scaled to the reach of Pollock's arm. So each of those lines is recording the gesture of his hand as it moves over the canvas. So even though the work is now 60 or more years old, you're aware of the moment in which it's made. So in a sense, Pollock, the artist, is present here with you as you're looking at the painting.
Oh man. It feels as if Jackson Pollock is there with you as you view the painting. Right. Now, I will give some credit. The way the brush strokes and whatnot are made, and the splatters, you can tell how he moved the brush. But in context of everything else, I'm sure you can guess what I would say otherwise.
This painting is incredibly honest. Pollock isn't trying to fool us in any way.
Shut the fuck up. He's actually trying to fool us into thinking that this is much bigger than it really is.
However, our brains can't resist trying to read perspectival depth. They draw you in to this forest or thicket of lines and paint. You could characterize them as landscapes of just paint itself.
I characterize this as an absolute scam considering that one of Pollock's works goes for $350 million. I don't think it should be that expensive considering something this ridiculous has been made on the face of the planet.
No matter what your background is, what your understanding is of 20th century art, of any art, there's no requirements, there's no iconography, they're open to everyone. The immediacy with which it was painted is also the immediacy with which we can encounter the work and understand it.
Thank you, Nicholas. You've just reinforced in my mind how overrated, immensely overrated Jackson Pollock is. And you can probably notice that we've changed backgrounds. I'm no longer in my bedroom for this, or at least I'm not right now. I'm in my living room. I had to get comfortable because I knew this was going to be painful as shit. And it was. So, yeah, there are many problems with Jackson Pollock and also modern art in general. I don't understand how people can value a banana taped to a wall. Not even as a joke. It's like when Kanye West, I think, decided to go for president. What was it, in 2020? Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. But let's go full circle here for a minute. Again, there are a lot of people that are a lot better than Jackson Pollock in the modern age. To list a few: Nicole Mobley draws, Blue Garlic art, Magic Lungs. Saba Illustrations. These four are part of several that I follow on Instagram, and they're all very fantastic artists. Um, just to add to context, Nicole made a piece that is supposed to be for the holidays. This was fairly recent. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I believe it's part of a Draw This in Your Style challenge. Blue Garlic made art that some might have been archived or deleted as posts, but she made this. You can't tell me this isn't gorgeous. And she did this originally. She thought it wasn't that good. I didn't think it had to be improved, but she improved on it as well. And again, Magic Loans. Her work is absolutely fantastic. And she's, I will say, Blue Garlic art is much rarer to find new art of. Um, but of course, understand that people are busy. Magic Lungs and Nicole are by far the most active that I've seen. But still, you have to appreciate the work that they've done. And of course, Sab Illustrations. She's a freaking unicorn these days, or at least I believe, because I haven't seen that much. But her work is still fantastic. There's a piece that she archived, which is very unfortunate because I wanted to show, and it was her and her style, like sort of interacting with her. It was very nice, and that's what drew me into her work in the first place. And now most of the work that she's done is still fantastic, if not improved. So there are plenty of good artists out there, and there are also plenty of good artists in the past. Jackson Pollock is not one of them. Like, if you have one of those pieces in your house, an authentic Jackson Pollock piece, and you're a dude with a silver spoon up their ass and just going up there with a penthouse, just know that despite the class difference between you and me, I look down on you a lot because you've just wasted your money on one of the most overrated artists of all time. And I need to add a disclaimer. I don't know if I did it in the beginning, but I'm just going to say it anyway. This is not in any way to validate my work, okay? Despite the stuff that I've said about being in art classes and taking Design 1 and Digital Art and Design Foundations in university this year, and also, just the background in general, you can have an opinion on my art of varying degrees. That's absolutely fine. There are things that I myself think I can improve on. And that's something that needs to be acknowledged, because if you don't see anything that you can improve on, then you're never gonna, grow. So, and this is something that I also actively ask for. Please, if you do want to spare a moment, give some criticisms in the comments of my posts. I don't give a shit about engagement in these posts. Like, just DM me or something about a certain piece and tell me what I could have improved. Because, again, I want to improve myself. Jackson Pollock did the same shit for God knows how many years, and it's absolutely ridiculous that he got away with it. Pablo Picasso was a man that had varying styles over the course of his life, and they were all great to see. Like, he did Surrealism, he did Cubism, and so many others that I can't remember. But his work is still fantastic. It holds up well to this day. And it might even be relatable to some people, like The Old Guitarist. Like, The Old Guitarist is something that I would hang up on my wall if I had it. But even still, there's art in the current age that is very disappointing to look at. And this is also leading to another topic, the AI generated stuff that is officially debunked as not actually AI generated, or at least some work. Like, I forgot the name of that one app already, but it's a big controversy about this app that generates art based on 7 or so images. That also sounds like a scam, and the worst part is, I've hinted at this in my stories before, that Adobe kind of supports this shit. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I use Adobe products. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro for this video as well as the other ones that I've done. But it's so stupid to me that they support something like this. Creative freedom is being taken because of AI generation, or at least supposedly AI generation. And The fact that we're steering much closer to this, it makes you realize, along with other things like voice synthesizing, it makes you wonder how far we should go with with technology like this. It's very cliche, but again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And unfortunately, we're going really far into this age. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do today. I don't know if I'm going to do anything else later, but I just wanted to spit in the face of Jackson Pollock, and I will continue to do that until even past my grave. I will tell God, God, I if I'm first of all, great guy, right? Just get that out there. But that man, Sir Jackson Pollock, he's committed a sin and made one of the biggest scams in human history. And then God's gonna probably look at his book, see what he's done, and send him to trial or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it. Um, I'm so sorry. Um, and it's really weird just changing moods like this, but if you do anything on the side, if you do any art on the side, please let me know, because I want to see what people have done, either for movies, games, or something entirely original. Some of my friends, actually, most of my friends, if not every single one of them, is an art as well, and their work is genuinely impressive. I don't know if they want me to tag their stuff, but if they do, then you'll see an update on this on the description. So yeah, other than that, I will see everybody around.